Hey everybody, Carla with Carla's Clever Crafts. I am going today to be doing another bee design. This one is going to be with this sign. It says "Be Blessed." It's got some yellow polka dots around the side and the cute little bee. I am going to be doing a different style wreath today though. I'm going to actually be doing what is called a pancake wreath. And the purpose of a pancake wreath is to keep the thickness of it thin so that it will still fit in between storm doors, screen doors, and things like that. This style is also good for if you wanted to take to a family member in a nursing home, or if you wanted to hang it on a hospital door or something like that. When my mother-in-law was in the hospital, I took her beautiful wreath and she still treasures it to this day. So there's lots of things that you can do with this because it's thinner and isn't as thick, but it's still, we're still gonna have some nice width to it, and it's still gonna be a beautiful overall design. I had a request from somebody who has been following me for quite a while to do a pancake wreath, so we're going to do one of those today. And I might actually do a couple different designs, but I'm going to start with this one because I over-purchased bee stuff, so now I have an abundance. First thing I'm going to do, this sign came from Craft Outlet, so I'm going to turn it over face down, and I'm going to go ahead and attach my pipe cleaners so that I can attach it to my sign. I'm doing this step first to give it some drying time so that it can set up. And then I've just taken my pipe cleaners and folded them in half, kind of like a V. And I have E6000 glue. I always put a dot of it everywhere that I'm going to attach a pipe cleaner. And then I didn't heat up my glue gun, so we'll turn that on real quick. I'm going to place this pipe cleaner into the E6000 glue right at the V there. And when my glue gun gets hot enough, I'm going to go over top of that with some hot glue. And then I always have 2 pieces of fabric, or I use my scrap pieces of ribbon when I have so many of them. I just kind of keep them and use them for this purpose. So when I put the hot glue on, I'm going to take this and use my finger protectors, and I'm going to press this down to secure it. And then when it dries and sets up, the sign is not going to come unattached. The E6000 glue takes 24 hours to fully cure. That's why I come over top of it with the hot glue, because it gives me a faster hold for while I am designing my wreath and waiting for that permanent setup. Okay, I'm actually just scoop this over while the glue warms up just a bit more, and I'll talk about the frame that I'm going to use today. Actually, I need to load in my comments because I did get my computer charged and fixed, and it should be running pretty good. So hopefully, if people are able to join me today, I'll be able to see and respond to you. Oh, and I didn't turn off my TV again, you guys. I keep forgetting when I'm in the kitchen to do that. Okay, it looks like the live video is loading. Alright, so I'm going to run over real quick and turn that off to make sure you guys can hear me. Okay, that should be better. Okay, and I have my comments up here, so if you're on watching, make sure to say hello and let me know you're here. And our glue gun is hot enough now, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the speaker on my computer on mute. I've been doing a business coaching course, so I've been using my computer for that. Okay. Now we're going to take our hot glue and just go over top and squeeze out a pretty healthy amount. Just right over top of that corner. Let me move this down towards you guys. Okay, and then I'm just going to take my fabric or my ribbon scrap or whatever I'm using. Make sure you use something to protect your fingers. And then I'm just going to press that down really secure and spread that glue out. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing down here. Make sure we have it in our E6000. Put a healthy glob of glue. Don't get too close to your edge, or when you push down your fabric, your glue will go over your edge. And using these silicone finger protectors also make it so that you can really push it down, really creating a secure hold in there. Okay, and now that we've done that, we just need to set this aside and let that dry while we work on our base. Hey, Shauna. Thanks for watching. Real quick, I wanted to mention the silicone finger protectors that I use came from the Dollar Tree. You get a 3-pack for $1.25. So definitely worth it to save your fingers. And we're done with this glue, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off and move it out of our way. Okay, next I'm going to be using a 14-inch wire frame. The wire frame has 6 sections. A section is considered in between each crossbar. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to be wiring it today with 12 pipe cleaners. We're going to start by coming on the inside 2 rings. We're going to go in the middle of the 2 crossbars and place a pipe cleaner. We're going to go to the next section and do the same thing, the next section and do the same thing, and then I'm going to come here and do this one now so that you can see how I do that. I just run my pipe cleaner under the 2 bars, and then I'm going to twist it on this inside ring, and I'm just going to push those down out of my way. Okay, so come and do the next one. Line them up and twist on the inside of the 2 bars that you're working on. And our last section. So now this gives us 6 pipe cleaners total on the inside 2 bars. And now we need to do our ones here on the outside. Now in my other videos, if you've seen those, I use these outside 2 bars. This time for the pancake wreath, pancake style wreath, we're going to actually use these 2 middle bars. So on the 2 middle bars, you're going to come across here and you're going to actually twist your knot over this 3rd ring. So normally we twist on the inside. This time we're going to twist on the outside. So we're going to do 1 at each crossbar. So we have 3. So I'll do this one to show you how I do that. Line up your pipe cleaner, and remember we're twisting the knot on the 3rd ring. Just twist it a couple times and push that out. Come to our next crossbar, same thing. Remember we're on the 2nd and 3rd rings, and I kind of catty corner it across the crossbar here. So I'm coming underneath on this side and coming back up on this side. So I'm kind of crossing across that crossbar. So we're just going to line it up, twist it on the on the 3rd one, and push it out of our way. This is our last one. So again, I'm going under this corner and I'm going to come out this corner. So I'm going under the 2nd and 3rd rings. Line it up, and then I'm twisting on this 3rd ring. Okay, now we have 6 on the outside and 6 on the inside, so 12 total for this wreath design. Hi Tracy, thanks for joining me. Okay, we're going to move the wreath frame to the side, and I'll talk about the mesh. We're going to use all 1 color of mesh on this design, and I'm using, this is a black and white, it's called Bold Stripe. And I got this mesh from craftoutlet.com. I have it's 10 inches wide. The roll comes 10 inches wide, and I have cut these to 30 inches long. So that's quite a bit longer than what I normally use, but we are only doing 12 pipe cleaners instead of 18. So the amount of mesh comes out probably about the same. I will tell you that this design I'm doing today will use one full complete roll of mesh. You will have no extra left over to have to store or save, but don't try to use a partial roll for this design. You will need one full roll. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so to do a pancake wreath, we need to do a ruffle. So not a cruffle like I've done in the past, but instead a ruffle. And it is better because these pieces of mesh are so long. If you have a mesh that has like lines or something to where you can kind of see the center and make sure that you're keeping it straight, it will be helpful to you. So I'm just going to fold this first edge under, just about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch worth. And that is just to protect that cut edge from fraying. And then you are just going to scrunch this all the way, trying to your best to keep in the middle, pulling it towards yourself with your fingers, scrunching a little bit at a time to make your ruffle. And when I get down to the end here, I am again going to fold this under the best that I can, just to protect my cut edge. And then this is what it will look like. Now we're going to place our first one in our first pipe cleaner. I always work around the outside 6 first when doing this design. So we'll lay it in. Pull our pipe cleaners up. We're going to pull those tight so we have a nice secure base for our wreath design. And then here is where we're going to actually make the pancake. As you can see, this, if we just left it like that, it's sticking up quite a bit and we're going to end up with a thick, full design. We're trying to keep this flat. And we're trying to keep it flat so that it will fit between storm doors. So we're going to take the mesh here where the open edge is, and we're just going to pull this around. I got to get it off that pipe cleaner first. There we go. And it's going to stick to itself, so I have to fight with it just a little bit. I'm going to pull it around and mash it down. And then we're going to come over here and do the same thing with this edge, pulling it the opposite way. And then we're going to fold our mesh pieces under. So it's going to kind of look like a flower. And these cut edges, I try to put those down in one of the dips in the ruffle to give it a little bit of additional protection. So that's what it will look like when you put your first ruffle on. Hi Carol, how are you today? Okay, so now we will do our next one. And when you unroll your mesh, you're going to face it face down. So the curl, it's going to have a natural tendency to curl. You want the curl part underneath. And I'm using my wire cutters to help me hold this because it's going to just keep trying to curl up. Okay, so again, I'm just going to fold this edge under, 1/2 inch to 1 inch or so. And then just scrunch down the middle, using my lines as a guide to try to stay in the middle. And it'll try to twist on you, so you just got to kind of fight it back to keep it going the way you want. Again, I'm going to curl this side under like I did the first side. Okay. And then we're going to place it right in our next outside pipe cleaner. This kind of reminds me of like flowers. So it almost looks like you're putting flowers. Another thing to do is when you're putting your mesh in, we want this flat, so push that mesh down when you're squeezing it into your pipe cleaner. Okay, again, we're going to pull our mesh around so that it overlays. do both sides, and then you're going to curl your ends under. And the whole idea is that we're trying to keep this as flat as we can. And so that's what it looks like from the side. Okay, so we'll just keep working on this until we get around all 6. I have another design ready to go today, so I'm kind of actually hoping to get 2 lives in today. We'll see if I'm able to do that. Okay. So fold it, scrunch it. And then that edge curled under automatically for me, so that was beautiful. Didn't have to do that extra step. And place it in our next one. Mash it down. Okay, and then I'm just gonna overlap these. Trying to keep those cut edges down in these grooves. And then curl it under. And each of your ruffles will overlay your previous one. Okay. Oh, that looks funky. There. Okay. This is pretty good quality mesh. You do not want to use a really sheer mesh for this design because you will be able to see through it and you won't have good full coverage. So you want to use like a metallic mesh or something that's going to give you a solid background. Okay. That one curled on its own too, so now I just need to add it. Mash it down, squeeze real tight, and then overlay. And when I overlay, I'm pulling the top and I'm also pulling the bottom around. And then just curling my edges under. And we'll come back to these inside pipe cleaners after we get done with the outside. We're going to do our ribbons and our mesh on the outside before we go to the inside. Hi Maria, how are you today? Next one in, and this goes pretty quick. We've only got one more to do. And your mesh will stick to itself, so you just kind of got to tug and pull on it to get it to lay where you want it. And don't forget to curl the edges under. Last one. Hi, I don't know how to say your name. Tawanda? Is that right? Thanks for joining me. Okay, so I just folded that first edge, scruffling up the middle, or scrunching up the middle, ruffling up the middle. I just combined the 2 words. Make sure that this other cut edge is tucked under on the other side. just gonna lay it in, push it down. The whole idea is we want this to be flat. I've never tried doing this design without flattening it and meshing it down. I bet that would be pretty. Maybe we'll do that after a while. Try our own little spin on the pancake style. How would that be? Of course, it wouldn't be a storm door friendly wreath then. Okay, so next I'm gonna lay my ribbon tails on this first layer. I'm going to be using these 2.5 inch ribbons. I cut them to 12 inches long, I believe. Let me double check that. No, 13 inches. So I cut these to 13 inches. We have the polka dot and the bumblebee. I got both of these ribbons off of Amazon. They came as, you could buy a bundle with 4 different ribbons, all bee theme related. So I got those there. And then I'm gonna use the honeycomb ribbon. And this is 1.5 inch, also cut 13 inches. And this came from Sam's Club, part of their spring collection. And then we're gonna use this black and white polka dot to give us some contrast with all of our yellows. And this is 1.5 inch also, cut to 13 inches. And this ribbon came from Craft Outlet. Okay, and I think I am going to put in my Etsy shop, I'm gonna do a wreath kit for this and make it a bundle that includes everything I used today and list that in my Etsy shop. So if anybody would be interested in buying the wreath supply kit and remaking this, that will be available, but I will only have one. Okay, so I think that I'm going to match up the bees with the honeycomb and then the polka dots. So I'm going to do my standard, make a little X, not a big X like this, just a little X, and then scrunch up the middle, and then V it back towards us, like that. And so you end up with like a spray of ribbons in your hand. You're just going to come into your pipe cleaner, and those in there. Give it 3 or 4 twists. We're not going to add anything else to this pipe cleaner, so we're going to go ahead and clip it off, making sure we don't cut our mesh. And then we're just going to push that tip down in and squeeze it, and then fluff out our ribbon tails and arch them so that they kind of come out and down around our mesh. Okay. Trying to decide if I want to do, I think I'm going to do all of the polka dots on the bottom, and then I'm going to save the honeycomb and the bees and do on the top. Let's see what that looks like. Instead of rotating them, let's do it a little different. Oh yeah, I got it right. Thank you. Okay, so just again, we're making a little X, scrunching in the middle and V'ing it back towards ourselves, making sure that we line these up the best we can. It'll look like that, and we're just going to put it in the pipe cleaner. Repeat this process for all 6 of these little flowers we made. Cut off the extra. Push this down inside. I've only recently started doing wreath supply kits, but I like to do those because if somebody wants to repeat one of my designs, it is a less expensive way for them to get all of the materials because they don't have to order from, like for example, on this wreath, I've used materials from Craft Outlet, Amazon, Craft Outlet and Amazon. So then you have to pay 2 different shipping costs and order from 2 different places. And so it's kind of a way, and then you have materials left over. This way you get exactly what you would need to make this design and not the extra materials, and you don't have to pay the multiple shipping costs. On this one, I think I'm only using materials from 2 places, but a lot of my designs I'm using stuff from 3 and 4 different places, so shipping can really add up. Okay. And then if you're only wanting to make one of these wreaths, you don't have, you don't have a need for all the extra ribbon and stuff that you would have. So that's another way to just get exactly what you would need to make the one wreath, if that's, what you wanted to do. Oh, you guys, I messed up. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of this bumblebee ribbon from Amazon. I have ordered quite a bit of it. I love that white background because because you have a lot of yellows and blacks with bumblebee designs, and so that white background gives a nice contrast. It's also very good quality. It's like a canvas material. So I had to redo this one because I was blabbing and not paying attention. Okay. I mean, there's lots of cute bee ribbons out there, but I'm a big fan of that one with the white background. We got just 3 more. You were about to tell me that I put the wrong ribbon. Okay. At least I noticed it right away. That's always good. When I'm doing this, I'm putting my black ribbons on top, but you wouldn't have to do that. You can do whichever way you prefer. For some reason, I have a tendency to put either the smallest ribbon or the primary print ribbon on top. So when I do the bee and the honeycomb, I will put the bees on top because that's my primary ribbon. But here I put the black and white on top because I didn't want it to get lost under this ribbon and with the mesh. And I'm not arching my ribbon tails up real high. I'm just kind of arching them to curl down around the edges because remember, we're trying to keep this design flat, but still make it have a huge impact and look very beautiful. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. Still nice and thin and flat. And we're going to get ready now, and we're going to pull these pipe cleaners up. We're going to pull them up between these pieces that we've already added, still keeping our pieces flat.
This mesh is really good for this design because of the fact that it does stick to itself. Makes it a little harder to maneuver this stuff, but it keeps it flat. So this was a good choice of mesh to use. So we got one more. Okay, so now we're going to do 6 more ruffles and add them to those 6 pipe cleaners we just pulled up. Let me move these ribbons out of the way. I have been making wreaths for probably about 4 or 5 years now. I actually just started doing Etsy a year ago. And then I only recently, in January of this year, I started doing lives and tutorials. So it's been quite a while that I've been doing them. Watch a lot of how-tos and tutorials. I did that, but then I used, ideas and inspiration from other people to kind of come up with my own unique way of doing things. Now, when you're doing a pancake wreath, for example, everybody's going to do this the same, because that's the style wreath that you're doing. That's what people are going to be expecting when they get a pancake wreath. But everybody has their own little touches on how they cut the ribbons, how they lay them, how they tie things in, what attachments they use or extras. Okay, so we're going to leave that pipe cleaner standing up there because we'll have to come back and add our ribbon. And we're just going to pull this around. Oh, this one's fighting me, guys. Okay, there we go. Curl our edge under. And so these, when we add them on the inside, they're just going to lay right over top in the middle of the 2 on the bottom. Okay, oh, so there's 2, 1 here and 1 here. This one will lay right in the middle. Okay. When I first started making wreaths, I will tell you they were not fabulous. I've improved a lot over the years. I still have some of my first designs. I had no idea what I was doing. For example, I bought tulle thinking that's what I needed. I had no idea what mesh even was. And then I would try to do floral designs, and I would try to directly wire them right to a wire wreath form, which is definitely not a way to go. You either need to put a base on your wire wreath form, or you need to use a grapevine. So there's a lot that I have learned over the course of the last 4 or 5 years. And I still have some of those early wreaths. They're not so pretty, y'all. Okay. And I always try to tell everybody who's new to wreath making that, because not everybody is a natural. I was not a natural, but it was something that I loved. It was relaxing, and it was something that I wanted to learn how to do, so I just kept at it. That one is determined to be poofy. Okay. No, thank you. I try to do it in a way that I guess in a way that I like to see or be shown new things. So that's what I try to do. It is a beautiful day here today. It's been so cold here. I'm in West Virginia, and it's been so cold, but today it is so nice outside. It is unbelievable. What is the weather like where you guys are? I went outside earlier and even sat on my porch. It was so nice. Actually, I've been out there a couple times. Okay. And just a reminder, these mesh pieces are 10 inches wide and I cut them to 30 inches long. Another nice thing I'm noticing about this mesh, you guys, is that it's not fraying. I'm not having a lot of fray on the counter as I work with it, which is always wonderful. Okay. So see, it's still, even though we're adding in that second layer of mesh, it's still pretty thin. Easily to fit in a tight location. Raining all day. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't like rainy days. They're so depressing to me. I guess it could be worse. Could be having snowstorms. I like those less. Even though I'm in West Virginia, I'm in the western part of the state. So we don't really get a lot of snow here like the other parts of our state do. Remember when you're putting these in to mash them down, because that will help you keep your design flat. This is our last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, looks like I cut an extra piece of mesh. Apparently counting is not my strong suit. I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera, but this mesh, as you're scrunching it, will try to twist. So just keep your eye on whatever line you're using to make sure you stay in the center, and just keep forcing it to pull back. And curl in your other side. Push it down, twist it, and then layer your petals together. Curl them under. Okay, and now in these pipe cleaners, we're going to go ahead and put our honeycomb and our bees. Now, I did all of my polka dot on the bottom, and I'm doing this all on the top, but you could rotate them, like do a polka dot and then a bee set, and then a polka dot and then a bee set if you wanted to. I do that in a lot of my wreath designs, rotate the patterns, but I wanted to just do something a little different. Okay, and I'm gonna do these ribbons the same way. I'm gonna put them in here the same way. And then after I add my sign and decide if I'm going to add anything else, I can always change the way that my ribbons are laying. I'm gonna show you what I mean. So I'm gonna start off with fanning them out this way. But if I change my mind and I don't like the way that it looks and I want some of these ribbon tails to the inside, I can just change them like this and lay them in an X pattern. Like that. And then I'll have some to the outside and some to the inside. But for now, I'm gonna start off with just being them to the outside. And then if I don't like this when we get to adding the sign and stuff, I'll change it. Okay. Small X, scrunch it up the middle, V it back towards yourself and line up your two ends. I love the fact that it's like you have a little spray of ribbons in your hand, and you can just set them in there. Make sure you push the extra pipe cleaner down in and then give it a good squeeze so it securely holds your ribbons. This wreath, this design goes pretty quick too because you're only working in 12 pipe cleaners. So once you get the hang of how to do the techniques, these go pretty quick. Oh, you're so welcome. If you guys have any questions, just be sure to leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer them while we're live, but if I miss them, I always go back to my lives and check and answer any questions that you might have. And even if somebody's seeing it on replay, just go ahead and still leave your question and I will answer it. My goal in doing lives is to inspire others and not only give them the knowledge of how to do different wreath designs, but to sometimes it's intimidating to do something new, so giving people the courage and inspiration that they need to just take that leap of faith. And that's particularly for new wreath designers. think I'm short one V ribbon. So I cut one too many pieces of mesh and didn't cut enough V's. I really am having trouble with counting. And actually I ended up with an extra honeycomb. Okay, so I'm not gonna run and get the ribbon just to add that one. I'll just keep showing you guys. You guys pretend like there's another set of these ribbons here, and I'll just add that when we're all done. Okay, so my sign should be good now. Just pull on it really hard and show you guys that that creates a very secure hold. Your sign is not gonna come off if you use that method. I'm gonna put this in the middle. And then these wires, these pipe cleaners that we attached, I'm just gonna feed this down through the mesh to the wire reform that we started on. Oh, this is hard to get through this mesh, y'all. For me, I think this is the hardest part of making a wreath. Is getting those fed down through all the mesh and ribbons. So I've got one piece, one end. There we go. Okay, now I've got them through there. I'm holding them underneath. I just want to put my sign, make sure I've got it in the middle. And then I'm gonna just pull it down kind of secure and snug and twist my pipe cleaner around itself. See if I can show you guys that. I'm just twisting it around itself a bunch of times. I've wrapped around 2 of the rings here on the base. So I think that makes your sign more secure if you go around 2 as opposed to 1. I'm just gonna twist it a bunch of times. And then I'm gonna cut off this extra. I said we had no fraying, and there's my first little piece of fraying. And then I'm gonna take this end piece and I'm gonna push it up inside of my wreath design. And I actually am wrapping it around this ring and then making sure that it ends with the pointed side inside of the frame so it doesn't poke somebody or scratch your door. Okay, so now I just need to come over to this side and do the same thing. Make sure it's positioned close to the middle. First one went through very easily. The second one, not so much. Here it goes. Okay. Now I've got them both through there, making sure that I'm around 2 of the rings, 1 and 2. And then I'm just gonna kind of pull down on it to make it snug, just slightly, and then twist. Cut off the extra. Make sure you don't cut your mesh. And then I'm just going to wrap this around and put that sharp end up inside. Okay, so this is our design so far. I have some extra little things over here that I thought I would play around with and see if I wanted to add. I got these cute little bees. Well, this is kind of big, so even if I use this, I'm gonna have to flatten his wings out some to keep my thin design. So I'm not sure that we'll use this little guy just because of his size. Although he would look really cute. I don't know, we'll think about that. And then I also have these really beautiful flowers. Real quick, I got these bees. They're pretty good size. As you can see, it's almost the size of my hand. And then the wingspan is just huge. And then these have wires, so they're adjustable. You can make it look like he's flying. They're really cute. And these came from Craft Outlet. And then these sunflowers that I have are from Amazon. And I ordered, I think I got a box of 60 flower heads. It was about $15 or so. So I was thinking what I might do is just come around where each of my little pipe cleaners are. Let's turn the glue on. So I need 6 of these total if I do that, because we'll put one there after I put the ribbon in. And there, and these are flat, so it kind of keeps with our flat design. So what do you guys think about that? And then I do think, remember I mentioned I might change my ribbon tails. I am gonna angle them a little bit upward more to fill in where all this black is. Okay, I think I like those flowers. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I have a couple different types of little bees. I don't think I'm going to use this big guy because I just think he's going to defeat the purpose of my pancake design. I have these little bees that are like little foam balls, not foam. I don't know what to call this material. The little squishy balls that you can get for crafting. I got a whole bag of these. I think there was 100 of them, and I got those from Amazon, and they were really cheap. So I could add a couple of those, like to the flowers, or maybe sitting up here on top of the sign. But I also have thank you, Tracy. I also have these flat back bees. Whoops, we'll just get a different one. These flat back bees. They, I got these from Amazon too. You get a whole bag and you get different sizes. So there's like big ones, little ones, medium sized ones, and they just have like a flat back. So I could put those like on the flowers. Maybe the little ones and the medium ones, and just kind of mix those up. And I think I like, because these are a little bit more realistic looking to me than these are. So I think I like those, but I may still stick a couple of these like just on the top of my sign. Just like another little extra thing. Like they're just sitting up there. So maybe put one right around in here, and I'll hot glue them down. Same with the flowers. I'm going to hot glue those. And then I will hot glue these little bees. So let's see. I think I'm going to do a medium size and a little one, and then a medium size, and just rotate those. So what do you guys think? Oh, thank you. Okay, I'm going to get these last couple little bees out here. I won't make you guys hang out while I glue. But I'll just show you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wow, I can't count today. Okay, so we have small, big, small, big. Okay, that's right. So that's what our design is going to look like. I'm not going to raise it up too far because all these little bees will go falling, but that's what it's going to look like. And now we have, I do want to raise it up and show you the thickness. It's really thin. That's probably less than 3 inches thick, which is perfect for a storm door.
but you still have a big wow wreath that you're going to see from the road, so all your neighbors will be jealous. And so that's the purpose of the pancake wreath. If you guys have any questions, just let me know, and I will definitely answer them. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me while I do this. I might be back on later today if you have some more free time. And I guess that's it for now, and I'll see you guys again soon.